what's up, you guys? This is Morgan from Morgan-Led Insights, and welcome to this loving, collaborative, open, and accepting community. In this video today, we are going to be talking about Mercury in Pisces. Mercury will station retrograde in February, on February 16th, in the 12th sign of Pisces, but this video is specifically just about Mercury in Pisces in the weeks following up to Mercury's retrograde station. There will be another video that specifically addresses Mercury in retrograde because that in itself is a really big topic. So just make sure that you guys are subscribing to the channel, or if you're already a subscriber, make sure that you are paying attention to the notifications so that you will be updated when that video is uploaded. I want to have it up on Valentine's Day, but please just know if it's not up on Valentine's Day that it will be up before February 16th. So just a few highlights before we start the video is making sure that you guys are subscribed to the free daily email horoscope subscription. That will be sent to you every day via email. That subscription again is free, and it also includes any weekly horoscopes, monthly horoscopes, specialty horoscopes like sex and money or love and career. Anything that is released will always go to the email list first. I always prioritize the email list just because that is one of the fastest and most convenient ways of communication. Also, make sure that you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. There are always giveaways that are going on Instagram. I want to do at least one a month. So just make sure you're checking those out. And if you're interested in any readings or services, I do provide all of those things additionally. So make sure that you are just looking at the description, checking out the website, workandletinsights.com. And if you have any questions, concerns, you can either comment below or you can email me privately. I always respond to feedback. Doesn't matter what it is. So now that we've got all the highlights out the way, let's dive right into Mercury in Pisces. So Mercury, what is Mercury? How does Mercury's position, its placements, all of those things, how does it affect us as human beings having this spiritual, weird experience, right? So Mercury is the planet of communication. When we think about Mercury, we really think about information, how we process information, how we send information, how we receive information. This does not just have to be verbally. Mercury also deals with our intuitive, our nonverbal communication. So our thoughts, our ideas, our sensitivities, our senses are involved when we talk about Mercury. So any way that you can process information, like your eyes are an information device. When we see things, we're processing information from our imagery, our perspective. Our noses is a way to process information. Smells, our ears when it comes to sounds, all of those things, our voice, all of those ways to really process sensory period is going to be coming through the planet of Mercury. So when we talk about Mercury, don't just think that Mercury is writing or speaking or listening. Any way that you can process sensory is a way for you to communicate in a 3D, which is a physical world, or in a non-3D, in a non-physical world. So there's all types of ways that we can really see how Mercury really corresponds and translates for us as individuals and also as a collective. So it's very important. I always suggest this, to make sure that you have your chart in front of you. You can have it on your cell phone if you're watching this on your computer. Or however, if you know your chart by heart, like me, you know it's like an image in your brain. Make sure that you look at where Mercury is in your natal chart and also where Mercury is in transit. Right now, Mercury is in Pisces. See what house that falls in. The house that Mercury falls in is really going to give you more insights and clues into how this collective energy is what I'm talking about, how it personally affects you. That is very important because it also gives you insights into how your chart moves, how your chart works. And the more that you follow along with outside professional guidance from a professional astrologer and use that information to really decode your own natal chart, the more you'll receive from these videos, the more you'll receive from your daily horoscopes, and the more you'll really start to be intuitive, innately understanding how the planets affect you on a very conscious and subconscious level. So Mercury in Pisces, what is Mercury in Pisces and what does this mean for us as individuals and as a collective. So Mercury in Pisces, first of all, Pisces is the 12th and the final zodiac sign in the 12 circle, zodiac. Pisces is the end. It's the end of the line. So anytime we deal with Pisces, we're dealing with the vibration of completion, of ending, of solitude, of reflection. Pisces is also a mutable water sign. So water elements are naturally sensual. They're very intuitive. They're very affectionate. They process things from a very yin-like perspective, very feminine in terms of how they express and process information, how they move through life. All of that is really coming from a very feminine-like quality, means that they're very graceful, they're very intuitive, they're very creative, they're very sensitive people. All water signs, period, are very sensitive. So when we think about Pisces as a water sign in relation to a mutable water sign, Pisces is even more flexible. Pisces is one who really moves moment to moment. You'll notice that Pisces people are very open, very vague in terms of their direction in life. They're very go with the flow. They don't really have a destined plan or one way to do things. They're very open and adaptable, almost like water, where water moves where the current takes it. That is the energy of Pisces in terms of its mutability. Now, Mercury in Pisces, when we combine the aspects of Mercury, which we already talked about, is how you communicate, how you process, how you sense things. Mercury in Pisces makes us very aware, very keen to the non-verbal elements of our everyday reality. It really slows us down. And this aspect is even more intensified now that we are in the pre-Mercury retrograde zone, which means that we're already feeling the effects. We're already starting to sense the symptoms that Mercury retrograde is really bringing up for us. And anytime we talk about a retrograde, we're talking about slowing down. It's a perceived illusion of the planet moving backwards, regressing, even though it's just a figment of illustration on how the Earth alignment. It's a whole different conversation. We'll talk about that in a retrograde video. But this process really allows us to really slow down and reflect. Pisces is already a reflection sign. Again, I said Pisces is the ending. It's the completion. It's a period of rest, of quiet, of stillness. Pisces is associated with the subconscious, with the past life, with someone who is confined, someone who is limited based on, their perception. So this is a period where a lot of us are really starting to sense intuitively, because Pisces is very psychic in terms of how it really receives information. A lot of us are starting to unplug. A lot of things that we have pushed to the side or overlooked based on busyness and just overall responsibilities, especially with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn, really grounding us down and forcing us to do the work. So there's a lot of responsibility on our backs. And Pisces, we just haven't had the time to really emotionally process a lot of these things. With Chiron now in Aries, we're still moving through a lot of the effects of Chiron's cycle in Pisces. So a lot of the subconscious fears, the unprocessed emotions, the energy blockages that we really hold in our body, because Pisces is notorious for body work. It's very important for us to understand that this is coming up. So if you feel like things are unlodging old fears or something that you are like, where is this coming from? It's ready to be released. It's ready to be acknowledged. So the best thing that I can say during this period is to really practice full awareness, being in the present moment and really acknowledging all of your feelings. This is not a time to be like, oh, I'm strong. No, don't be like that. If you're tired, if you're sleepy, which is very common because this is a time where we're very tired. This is, again, a period of rest. Pisces resonates with the element of rest. So it's very important for us to understand that we're more dreamy. We're more lucid in thinking. We may have a hard time concentrating on one thing or staying focused or feeling committed. This is a time where our willpower is being tested, especially when Mars moves into Capricorn on February 16th, the same day that Mercury stations retrograde in Pisces. So there's a lot of willpower, understanding that sometimes in order to move forward, we need to move slowly. You don't have to speed ahead. So some things that you can do to really alleviate some of these pressures and ways to really move this out of your body is to do body work. Acupuncture, resting, sleeping. You cannot nap enough. This is the time to take naps, especially as we move into Pisces season on February 18th. You need to prioritize your rest. If you do not give yourself permission to slow down and to be still, when the sun moves into Aries in March, you won't even be able to take advantage of the opportunities that open up to you because you didn't listen to your body, your mind, and your soul when it told you to be still. So this is a time again to rest, get all of your healing body work done. Go visit your favorite acupuncturist, your Reiki person, your sound therapy person. This is also a really good time for like floating, going into those float tanks where you're in complete darkness and you're just literally floating. That is a beautiful time because it allows you to feel like you are in a dark space of resting, but it also brings in the element of water. So if you can, please look up float tanks near you. And even if you can't get a float tank, because it can be kind of expensive, guys, just based on your financial situation, take a bath, okay? Take lots and lots and lots of baths. Drink lots and lots and lots of water. Go near running water. If you don't have access to the ocean, everybody has a creek, a stream, a pond, a lake. Be near water. This is a beautiful time to just put your feet in some water. Foot soaks. If you can go to Walmart or whatever your local store is and get one of those like little foot massager things that like foot baths where you can give yourself like a little pedicure. Salt soaks. We're releasing, lots of releasing. So doing salt baths, salt extractions is beautiful during this period. Also, let's see what else is coming up for me. I'm just going off my intuition. Dream journaling. A lot of us are doing a lot of past life regression work, even if we're not conscious of it. Sometimes Pisces is very subconscious in their abilities where they don't even know where their channeling is coming from. So pay very close attention to your dreams. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that are really coming to us in our dream state because that's when we're most relaxed. So give yourself permission to quiet down, to turn off your phone, to make sure that you're sleeping in complete darkness. This is even a beautiful time for aromatherapy, like lavender and chamomile and some of those more relaxation herbs to put in your diffusers or to add to your morning and night routine and as a tea. Tinctures, great time to visit your herbalist because Pisces is the opposite of Virgo, which is wellness. So this is a time where we're really having to get very serious and very holding ourselves accountable for our health, for our mental, spiritual, and physical health. We have got to take it more seriously or you are not going to have the energy that is going to be required of you when it hits spring and it's time to go. So make sure that you're prioritizing your rest and your wellness now so you will be very well equipped to handle the opportunities that are waiting for you as we move into these spring, summer months. So be mindful of that. One more thing that I want to add is that this is a very good time to really pay attention to your codependency triggers. A lot of people are codependent, not even necessarily on other people, but other things. So pay attention to what you're attached to. Pay attention to what triggers you. Pay attention to what makes you feel alone. This is a period where we're having to really embody loneliness, and loneliness is such a beautiful thing. When you're by yourself, that is when you are most connected to the divine. You do not have to be surrounded by people to feel loved and supported. Some of my best moments, y'all, are when I spend days at a time in complete solitude. I can't even explain to you the feeling that I get because I have access to a silence that you don't have access to when you're surrounded by people. So a lot of us, whether we're in relationships, whether we have families, whether we have roommates, a lot of us are going to be battling with this feeling of codependency and this feeling of alone, being alone, of suffering, being isolated. You're not isolated. And if you are isolating yourself, ask yourself why. What are you ashamed of? What unprocessed emotions are you really holding on to? That is what this feeling of incapacity, not being able to connect. You are holding on to something that is really blocking your heart chakra to really being able to receive the unconditional love and the support of Pisces. Also, make sure that you're watching out for the savior complex. A lot of people, when we deal with Piscean energy, really want to help others. Make sure that you are refilling your own cup before you reach out. That is the most important thing that I tell all my Pisces clients. When we really are in the thick of Piscean energy like this, is to make sure that we are refilling our own cup, so that when we do go to pour out, we aren't draining ourselves. We aren't causing unnecessary trauma or energy depletion, because we aren't replenishing our own wells. So that's very important for us in this transit. The last thing I promise is sensitivity. Make sure that you are being very aware of your sensitivity to others. This is very much absorption energy. We have the tendency to absorb other people's mental fears. We have the tendency to absorb other people's mental trauma. Remember, it doesn't just have to deal with the mind. It has to deal with all of our senses. So sensitivity to light, sensitivity to sound. Make sure that you're really surrounding yourselves in an area of ambience that really allows you to really harness these energies instead of having to be constantly reactive. When you're always reactive, you're in a period of stress. The body does not need to stay in a level of stress. When we stay in this fight or flight mentality, that's when we create illness. That's when we create trauma. That's when all of this blocked energy starts to increase. So it's very important for us that we really prioritize our environment, prioritizing our rest, making sure that we're living and believing and operating from a very belief-centered mindset, releasing feelings of doubt and shame and suffering and inability, and really rooting ourselves in a paradigm that encourages us to dream, that encourages us to visualize our future, that encourages us to understand and trust and know that anything is truly possible if you do the work, if you plant the seeds, you continue to water it, and you do things for the right reasons. Intention is so important now. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. Make sure that you're liking, subscribing. Again, this is a beautiful time for an energy reading. So make sure that you're contacting your favorite readers, whatever it is that really makes you feel heard and seen and brings you clarity in your life. This is a beautiful time to do more of that. I love you guys. I will see you soon for the Venus and Aries video. I've got some February horoscopes that I have never done before, so I'm super excited to launch those in a couple of days. And we also have the full moon in Leo, so you'll be seeing a lot of my face over the next week. So just get used to that, and make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're interested, go ahead and book a service. I love you guys. Peace. Namaste.